Hello everyone, my name is Brayden, this is Airless Quill 9, and in today's video, we are going to talk about Helmed Horrors. These are suits of armor that have been animated by magic. Rather than being unreasoning automatons, these armored shells actually possess the guile of soldiers and resilience against destructive magic. While their name suggests sinister intentions, these creatures actually serve their creators loyally. Helmed Horrors are also sometimes called Doom Guards or Spirit Armors. Most show no evidence of a personality, but exceptions do exist. Helmed Horrors might perform any number of assignments, really, and they are normally created with a task in mind. We are given a table to roll on in the 2024 Monster Manual called the Helmed Horror Directives Table. And this gives us 6 options for what directive a Helmed Horror might follow. In this table, it says that the Helmed Horror might follow commands to carry its master's palanquin through the air, defend a remarkable treasure or piece of armor by incorporating the item into its being, imitate a dead or imprisoned hero by using their armor and weapons, perform as a laborer or servant, serve in a legion formed from the armors of a land's ancient defenders, or stand sentry in a gallery of mundane armors. Whatever the case, Helmed Horrors are a very potent threat for any character to face. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the 2024 stat block for the Helmed Horror. I will, of course, compare it to its 2014 version, and we will talk about what changes have been made to this creature and if they turned out for the better. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight to it. So this is the 2024 Helmed Horror stat block. They are a medium construct, neutral alignment. They have an armor class of 20, an initiative of +3. They have 67 hit points. They have a speed of 30 feet and a fly speed of 30 feet with hover. For their ability scores, they have a strength of 18, dexterity 13, constitution 16, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores of 10. For skills, they have perception of +4. Immunities, they are immune to necrotic and poison damage, as well as the following conditions: blinded, charmed, deafened, exhaustion, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, and stunned. For gear, they have a shield in their possession that can be looted off of their corpses. Senses, they have a blind sight of 60 feet and a passive perception of 14. Languages, they can understand common plus 1 other language, but they can't speak. And the Helmed Horror is a challenge rating 4 creature, granting it 1100 experience points and a proficiency bonus of +2. For its special traits, the Helmed Horror has magic resistance, granting it advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And it also has spell immunity. This states that the Helmed Horror is immune to 3 spells chosen by its creator. Typical choices include Heat Metal, Lightning Bolt, and Magic Missile. Actions: the Helmed Horror has a multi-attack that allows it to make 2 Arcane Sword attacks. An Arcane Sword is a melee attack roll with a +6 to hit, a reach of 5 feet, and on a hit, it deals 1d8 +4 slashing damage, plus 1d10 force damage. Overall, pretty nice looking stat block, but let's talk about what changes have actually been made to it from its 2014 version. And there are quite a few to talk about. First off is the Helmed Horror is now proficient in initiative rolls, which is quite nice. So wherefore it would have had a +1 to initiative, it now has a +3, so that is a welcome addition. Secondly, is the Helmed Horror actually gained an additional hit die, so it now has an additional 7 hit points that it did not have before. Also, the Helmed Horror has been given the hover tag to its fly speed, which was not present there before, so that is quite nice to see. And now we get into some of the defensive abilities of the Helmed Horror. Now, the Helmed Horror has lost some resistances that it did have, and this was to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical damage, so those are no longer present in its stat block. In addition, the Helmed Horror is no longer immune to force damage, which it was one of the very few creatures that had immunity to force damage. And I will talk about in a second why they removed this specific immunity. However, the Helmed Horror did gain immunity to the exhaustion condition, which is quite nice to see, and makes a whole lot of sense considering it is a construct. In the languages section, this used to be something a little bit different, but now it states that the Helmed Horror understands Common plus one other language, and beforehand I believe this used to be that it understood the languages of its creator. So, slight difference there, but nothing too crazy. Now, in the spell immunity trait, there is a small change here, and where I've underlined Magic Missile, in 2014 this used to be suggested to be Fireball. Now, of course, you do get to choose which 3 spells the Helmed Horror is specifically immune to, so this is just a change to the suggestion, and honestly, the reason this says Magic Missile and not Fireball is because in older editions, the Helmed Horror was immune to the Magic Missile spell, and that is also why they removed the force damage immunity from the Helmed Horror, is because in older editions, the Helmed Horror was immune to Magic Missile, not force damage itself. So that is the reason for that particular change, and overall, I'm actually okay that they changed this because it is more in line with the older lore of the Helmed Horror, and I'm not surprised they changed it back to this because it makes a lot of sense. And force damage overall is supposed to be a damage type that is not resisted or immunity to for stat blocks, because that is something that players can utilize against creatures. So overall, makes a lot of sense for those particular changes. Now, the final change here is in the action section, and this is to the Helmed Horror's attack. In 2024, this is called Arcane Sword, and in 2014, this was simply just a longsword. However, in 2014, the Helmed Horror only dealt the regular slashing damage for that longsword attack. However, in 2024, since this is now a special sword that the Helmed Horror has access to, they have given it an additional 1d10 force damage. So overall, with that change, the Helmed Horror is actually dealing an additional 10 damage than it was previously. So I'm quite happy with that change, and I think that is an excellent change to the stat block. Overall, there are some small nerfs, there are some major buffs to the stat block, and I think overall they cancel each other out, and I'm quite happy with where the Helmed Horror landed. I think it's perfectly reasonable to have taken away the force immunity. The non-magical damage resistances don't really matter because they don't do anything for the 2024 rules, so I understand why those were removed. And I'm happy the Helmed Horror was just given some additional hit points in exchange for that, because that is quite nice. Additional hit points are always nice. But overall, I don't really have any major complaints about the stat block. This is pretty well designed. The Helmed Horror has always been scary, and overall, I think it's going to be just as scary, if not more scary, because of that additional damage is going to be dealing on those attacks. So, quite happy with where the Helmed Horror has landed. But yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. See ya later.